Alright, 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 alright. Or, in the words of Bill Cipher,
Well, 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 well. What you have sight for sore eye.
but I'm gonna stop messing with that. This isn't a voiceover stream, this is a discussion about One Piece. So, sorry, I just had to make sure my voice was fine and make sure that my voice was at an optimal level for all of you to enjoy. We got 3 chapters to go over today, so let's go ahead and get started. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and I'm using my big old ring light. Oh, it's great! Even on a gloomy day, this is so fantastic. This camera that my sisters got for me, it is adjustable. It's a big old light that shines. It shines. And it is touch activated. So if I wanted to, I could either go down to the lowest setting right here or slide across the dots to make it brighter and brighter and brighter until I look like I'm of the Caucasian persuasion, until you look at my arm. But this is where we're going to start off with. Enough messing around, sorry. I need to go ahead and get through today's reflections because I got to get back to recording more Wonderlands. Since I have the day off today, I want to record more. And I'm enjoying the game immensely. Oh, it's so awesome. Ogata-san, good to see you, and Destruct, good to see you as well. We got 3 chapters in the month of March, ladies and gentlemen, and boy, were they amazing. With the latest chapter, chapter 1044, being what I would consider one of the greatest chapters of One Piece we have ever seen. And you can quote me on that. I think these 3 chapters that we got in March fundamentally changed the One Piece community's view on so many different things about One Piece. Why am I looking at my camera light? Why am I looking at my light like that's where the light is? Y'all are right there. But the chapters that we got in March have so fundamentally changed what we've thought about certain devil fruits, what we thought about people, what we always thought, and even gave us like a little bit more info on one of the biggest mysteries of One Piece, you know, the concept and the name of Joy Boy, that the month of March has changed One Piece. This has been such an amazing month for One Piece. But we got chapters 1042, 1042, 1043, 1044. Now, I really can't wait. I can wait. I can wait. Let me say that. I can wait for the newest chapter to come out on Sunday. You say the memes the past 5 days are just the best ones you have seen in a while, because what we learn from 1044 has pretty much just shifted. I mean, just the info we learned in 1044 alone is going to keep people talking for a very long time, especially since this was something that we thought we knew from the beginning of the series, and Oda just says like, you may think you know, but you have no idea. So let's go ahead and get started with chapter 1042, which is The Victor Needs No Epithet. And this is the chapter where it shows DS Drake impaling the bowler hat CP0 agent through the back. And the guy is asking, explain yourself, Drake. And if you remember, it shows that after the fight between Izo and the rest of the CP0 members, they were still chasing and trying to make their way towards Luffy. And Drake resolved himself to, you know, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down fighting. And Drake says, this is what my justice tells me to do. And then the bowler hat guy says, then I am envious of you. And he shaves out of the sword that is currently being impaled through him by Drake. And he proceeds to use Shigun, proceeds to finger pistol Drake and down him. And as this is going on, people are still celebrating. In the Flower Capital, you see Toko here. I incorrectly called her Tama. I still remember that mistake from all the way back when I read through this chapter. Apologies for that. All right, I forgot that I need to pop out chat so I can see what you guys are saying while we're going over this. Let me pop out chat so that way we can both That way I can see you guys. Oda did give us a peek to Luffy's transformation in the 1028 cover page. If you mean the cover page where it shows the Straw Hats, it shows Usopp and Nami. Why I keep looking at the light? I'm sorry. I'm so used to looking in that direction for the camera. If you mean that color cover page from 1028 where Nami and Usopp were playing video games and it shows Zoro as Link, it shows Chopper, and it shows Luffy fighting, he did give us a sneak peek, just like he gave us a sneak peek about what Momonosuke was going to look like way, way back. So Oda likes to really tease future things that are going to happen in these color cover pages, so it should never be overlooked. So, yeah, hold on. Let me actually pull up One Piece 1028 so I can describe it. So let me pull it up here and let me get the... Yeah, this is the Brachiosaurus. This is the Brachiosaurus chapter. I believe this is the same chapter where Queen displays that he can dislocate his entire body from his Brontosaurus body, and his Brontosaurus body is autonomous and it can function like a little mini turret system. But yet on chapter 1028, and I'm looking at the cover page here, it has Jinbei as Mario. It has Luffy in a Street Fighter outfit, but his hair and his eyebrows are all fiery. It has Robin in the background, like she's from Darkstalkers in her demonio form. It has Zoro appearing like Link. And it shows him fighting Frankie, who's patterned after Donkey Kong, but instead of a tie, it's a bow tie. But yeah, Oda teased what Luffy's Gear 5 transformation was going to look like, or at least like the hair and the eyebrows. He teased that way back when. So we really got to pay attention to these color cover pages, because Oda could be hiding some real big secrets about the story as a whole in them. And if I remember correctly, I put up in the community tab that way back in February of 2021, December for us who got the 98th volume of One Piece, and in SBS, a user was talking about like, hey, we've seen Gear 4, are we going to see Gear 5? And Oda kind of underhandedly answered his question, but we really didn't pay attention to it until right now, where he says like, well, with all the things that are going on and networks changing and Luffy's fights changing, I know that networks, for us putting out these chapters and doing everything, we're going from 4G to 5G networks, and G means gears, right? So only those who have really paid attention to what Oda says in his SBS can see that Oda was teasing he was going to reveal Gear 5 soon or in the future. So that was already said by Oda, but you got to really pay attention to what he says in his SBS when he's answering questions. So he was already working into the story, or he already had it figured out that he was going to have Gear 5 in the story back in February of last year. And he was just writing the story out. But let's get back to this chapter. Bowler Hat Guy is fighting Drake, and he finger pistols him. It cuts to the Flower Capital, everyone making wishes, and then it cuts to the rooftop, where it shows Luffy using Gum Gum Kong Gatling, or whichever this move was. Is this? Oh no, this is Luffy. This is Luffy using I forgot what this attack was called. Hold on. Let me go back to Gear 4, because I have the wiki page to describe Gear 5 to you. Where is it? Boundsman, Kong Organ, Kong Gatling. Okay, it was Kong Gatling that Luffy was using against Kaido, and Kaido was going into these different mood swings, such as Drunken Beggar, where he was just saying, just stop, and then Luffy was saying, are you still drunk? And Kaido says, don't assume you're the only one who can see the future. And it was in this moment where we pretty much learn that Kaido is able to use future sight just like Katakuri and Luffy can. So an already substantial power under Kaido that he can use. Oda also stated this in Jump Festa that this year I hope I can draw Luffy that well. Pay attention to Luffy. Yeah, we really need to pay attention to Luffy during these upcoming chapters in April and possibly May. But Kaido's going through these different mood swings where he shows that he can use future sight and is able to dodge Luffy using Kong Gatling on him with a Drunken Thief. And then it has him biting into Luffy, throwing him up in the air, and then throwing him into the ground, and then point blank hitting him with a Borobrese so hard that Kaido blasts a hole all the way through Onigashima. And it shows Luffy momentarily being pushed all the way through the entire stronghold, with him using Gear 4th in order to fly all the way back up again. And Luffy is saying, how many more minutes left? This is my final Gear 4, but this doesn't necessarily mean that this is his final gear. There's no time to waste. Losing's not an option. And Kaido says, you're rather demanding. And if I was looking at this correctly, he was actually in the Snake Man form, not Bounce Man, but he was in Snake Man form. So let me correct myself. And he was using Gum Gum Hydra, not Gum Gum Kong Gatling. It was Gum Gum Hydra, which is an attack consisting of rapid-fire punches similar to Black Mamba, but Luffy's arms are infused with Conqueror's Haki to increase their power. Unlike the Black Mamba, which uses the semi-homing abilities of Python and the rapid high-frequency attacks to limit a more agile opponent's movements in a single direction, the Hydra uses advanced observation haki to lock onto an opponent and barrage them with unpredictable omnidirectional attacks, which are nearly impossible to fully defend against or avoid without using advanced Kembushaku no Haki, without using advanced observation haki in return. The attacks are shown to come not only from the front but from the sides and behind as well, effectively barraging the opponent in a 360-degree assault. So this kind of pretty much just tells us that what I didn't know was I just thought that this was him using Black Mamba with just Conqueror's Haki. I did not know that he was using Observation Haki Future Sight along with this attack to make sure that every single one of his hits never miss. I did not know that. I did not know that he was using Observation Haki in conjunction with Conqueror's Coding, or like imbuing his attacks with Conquerors as well. I didn't know that he was doing that as well, which makes this a very deadly attack unless his opponent is able to use Future Sight as well. Because otherwise, Kaido had absolutely no way to get out of it. So I had no idea that was happening. Big Mom does has Future Sight also. I think she does. Yeah, I think Katakuri can still keep up with Hydra. Hydra is the same as Black Mamba, but super fast maybe. I mean, with Katakuri and his special paramecia abilities, I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to push his Future Sight so that he can avoid even Hydra as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Katakuri can do that. It's just that with Kaido being so big, he presents a much bigger target, and it's harder for him to dodge, even with him using Future Sight as well, which is why he used Drunken Thief in order to bob and weave out of the attacks by turning into his full Azure Dragon form. As this is going on, he grabs Luffy, blasts him through the stronghold. Luffy changes from Snake Man to Bounce Man and proceeds to fly all the way to the top, with him saying, as long as you're around, the people of Wano won't even have clean water to drink. And he starts to imbue himself with more and more air into his arm as he uses a new attack called Kong King. I think it's Kong Overguns. Yeah, Kong Kong Overgun. Sorry, I was reading your comment there. Think Big Mom used observation in 1002 when she told Kaido to dodge Zoro's attack. Yeah, she could sense it as well. But I honestly, actually, you know what? Let's see if she does have future sight. Let's see if she does. Either that or she just had observation haki and could sense the potentiality of the attack that was coming from Zoro way back in 1002. Let's see. Let's see. It just says that she possesses observation haki. It doesn't necessarily say that she can use future sight. So that goes back to what I was saying before. When she was telling Kaido to dodge Zoro's attack, I don't think it was her having future sight. I just think it was her sensing the intent of the attack and the danger of it, but not necessarily seeing it ahead of time. But still, Kaido ended up dodging it anyway. But we see Luffy causing his arm. We see Lucy. We see Luffy cause his arm to get even larger as he says gum over Kong gun. I wonder who still has future sight. Of course, you have Shanks, Dragon maybe, Blackbeard. I don't know. It's hard to say. But one thing we can count on Rayleigh is that the number of people in the New World who have Conqueror's Haki is a lot bigger than the people that were over in Paradise. Now, the people that we've come across in the New World who has observation haki is Big Mom, Kaido, Katakuri. We find out that Yamato has it, and Kid has it. And those are the people in the New World that we currently know of that have Conqueror's Haki. Now, we only know that Kaido and Katakuri of the New World have future sight, but it remains to be seen who else has it. Who knows? Maybe Blackbeard has it, maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's Shiryu of the Rain, possibly. Who knows? It's hard to say because we don't know what everyone is really doing right now in the world enough to see if they have any sort of special abilities. It's just like, wow. It's just me thinking, Usopp also has observation. He has observation, but not future sight. And even then, his observation still needs work because he just awakened it way back in Dressrosa, and I don't think he even knows what he's done. I don't think Usopp even knows that he has observation haki. He just knows that he was able to zone in where Law and Luffy were before Sugar touched them way back on Dressrosa. That's all he knows. I don't think he knows that he actually has observation haki yet. But as Luffy prepares to use Gum Gum over Kong Gun, Kaido is saying, "But let me tell you, these Wano folk have accepted defeat in their hearts. Weaklings who shun violence, casualties who found glory in death. I've seen plenty of the losers and vanquished here, and they all have their excuses." And then Luffy pretty much sides with the samurai, saying, "Shut up, samurai are strong." Did Oda reveal in an SBS that Tobiropo and the All-Stars have observation or armament? I forgot. I believe they all have observation and armament, but as far as future sight, we don't know. Ben Beckman have future sight? Who knows? Who knows? You want to know how scary Shanks' crew is? The fact that we haven't really seen them fight at all. The only person that we've seen actually do an attack from the entire crew was Lucky Roo. And that's when he shot one of the goons of, what is his name? Higura, or whatever the mountain bandit dude was at the beginning of the series. Lucky Roo has been the only person who has actually fully attacked someone. Everyone else has just been shown in wide shots, or we've seen Ben Beckman aiming his gun at Kizaru at the events of the war. But Lucky Roo is the only one of Shanks' crew that we've seen actually attack and kill someone. And yet everyone still fears this crew from the beginning of the series all the way up until now. So who knows who was able to use Conquerors in Shanks' crew, or Observation in Shanks' crew, or even Future Sight in Shanks' crew. Out of all the Emperor's crew, Sengoku mentioned Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, and Yasop by name during 5:59:57. See, I come back to Lucky Roo again, and we'll continue on with this chapter. We're almost done with it. Lucky Roo, the crew members of Shanks, like we're told that the members of Shanks are unequivocally loyal to one another. You cannot have any hope of ever trying to break them up like Akainu did with Squard to Whitebeard during the Marineford War. You have absolutely no hope of ever breaking up this crew because they're very loyal and they're like a family just like Whitebeard's crew is. But the thing about this crew is that we don't know of their full strength. That's the thing. We don't know their full strength, but everyone fears them without question. They don't even go out of their way to be like, murderous pirates or anything. They just travel. They just chill. But everyone still fears them, and the Gorosei still fear them as well. Well, I wouldn't say they fear them. It's just that out of all the crews in the world, especially when we see these crews that are filled with devil fruit users, Shanks' crew is still ranked top amongst the most powerful crews out there, and we've never seen them fight at all. That's scary, isn't it? And they may not even have devil fruits. That's the thing. That's the thing. A lot of people like to say that, it's possible that maybe some of his crew may have devil fruits. But I just want to mention just how amazing and how scary it would be that Shanks' crew, which is all filled with regular looking dudes. Like, you see the crews of Kaido and Big Mom, they have people of all shapes and sizes. But on Shanks' crew, his crew's just the most normal looking out of all the Yonko. Normal sized people with the only slightly abnormally sized person being Lucky Roo. That's the only person on the crew that looks slightly out of the ordinary body structure wise. But everyone else on Shanks' crew is just people you wouldn't see sticking out in the middle of a crowd. They're just normal looking. Aside from Lucky Roo, Shanks' crew is just normal looking. But wouldn't it be absolutely amazing and scary if Shanks' crew doesn't have a single devil fruit user among them and they're all just powerful by pure strength alone? Wouldn't it be crazy if Shanks' crew is the only Yonko crew? Wouldn't it be crazy if Shanks' crew, one of the Yonko crews, they're just strong from hockey and they're just strong from hockey and their own strength? Wouldn't it be crazy? It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Of all the powerful devil fruits we've seen, and we're always wondering how powerful is this devil fruit? How powerful would it be if it's awakened? And we got Shanks' crew out here just sailing, doing whatever they want, and it's a whole crew of people who just know hockey, and that's it. Wouldn't that be amazing? It would just show that Shanks doesn't need devil fruits in his crew to be strong. You just need strength and hockey. Comparable to Rayleigh and the rest of the Roger crew, if you think about it. That's just my take. But we need to get back to this chapter so we can continue on. Sorry to hold you up. Also, where is Shiki? We don't know where Shiki is. Shiki could be Shiki the Golden Lion? No idea. His relevance hasn't really come around ever since we've known that he was part of the Roxas crew and, the events of the Strong World movie. But he hasn't really popped up in order for us to question where he is. That's just how I feel. But Luffy hits Kaido with Overkong Gun and sends Kaido flying. Now, if I come over here to Overkong Gun, it's called similar to the King Kong Gun. Luffy compresses his enlarged fist and unleashes it for a very powerful blow. However, it is now imbued with Conqueror's Haki, drastically increasing the attack's power. It was first used against Kaido and caused his fiery breath to combust in his maw, because Kaido was preparing to use Bolo Breath against Luffy in this instance, but Luffy hit him so hard that it wound up blowing up in his mouth first. And he hits Luffy, and then he uses Thunder Bellow Bagua, which is essentially him using Thunder Bagua, Raime Hoke! It's him using that attack, but in his hybrid form and using Conquerors with that attack as well. And then it shows Kaido in a bloodthirsty drunk mode where he hit Luffy hard enough to almost knock him out again. That's how substantially powerful this Thunder Bellow Bagua is compared to the regular Thunder Bagua. And he hit Luffy in his Gear 4th form. Say it right, Kyushu. You gotta say it like his dub version does. Wait, what did I say? What did I say? What did I say that needs to be said like his dub version does? Hold on, what did I say? What did I what did I say that needs to be said right? Oh, Shiki the Golden Lion. Shiki the Golden Lion. Oh, that's what you meant. That's what you meant. Not Shiki the Golden Lion. Shiki the Golden Lion. Hey man, this be Shiki the Golden Lion. You really, the fact that they gave Shiki a Jamaican accent in the One Piece dub, and that's officially his voice now. That's funny, but it just shows how substantially powerful the Thunder Bellow Bagua is compared to the regular Thunder Bagua, because he almost knocks out Luffy. You see Luffy laying down on the ground, and you start to see air rush out of his mouth, but Luffy catches himself and covers his mouth in order to keep the air from leaking out and from him leaving his current gear. Higurashi did use Shiki's face back in 965 during Oden's flashback, and Kaido looking menacing in that bloodthirsty panel. Yeah, they gave him like this real scary looking look when he's just saying in his bloodthirsty drunk mode. And Luffy, keeping the air in his mouth, saying, "Don't leave me yet, strength," rushes Kaido, saying, "One more hit, and if that doesn't work, then I've lost." And he uses Gum Gum, and he tries to use Over Kong Gun again, but as Kaido is saying, "Show me what you got, boy, Thunder Bellow," and as this happens, we see the CP0 bowler hat guy come in and actually hold Luffy's arm back. Now, let's just talk about the strength of this bowler hat CP0 agent. For him to hold back the arm of Luffy using Gear 4th right now, and he's able to keep Luffy from actually moving his arm in order to hit Kaido. Because Luffy's in the middle of using Over Kong Gun, but Bowler Hat Guy comes in. And he holds back Luffy's already enlarged arm in order to keep Luffy from hitting Kaido. And Kaido is already in position to bring his Kanabo down. He's already in motion to do it, so he can't stop himself. And in the process of CP0 interfering with Luffy using this attack, Kaido is able to get the hit on Luffy as utter horror fills his face as he's immediately reminded of how he won his fight against Oden. And it shows Luffy getting hit full force with Thunder Bellow Bagua point blank directly in the chest. As it shows Luffy getting hit by this attack completely. And that's where chapter 1042 ends. So we're going to move on to chapters 1043, called Let's Face Death Together, and it shows Luffy getting hit by Thunder Bellow Bagua, and then the resounding impact that shakes all of Onigashima. And Luffy is just immediately cratered and completely unconscious. All the air in his body immediately rushes out. He flies into the air. Momonosuke knows that Luffy's unconscious because he says, "I do not hear Luffy's voice anymore." Luffy falls back to the ground, completely bloodied and completely unconscious. You might as well call him near death right here. And then we get the title that says, "Battle on the Roof of the Skull Dome, winner Kaido, King of the Beasts." And the bowler hat guy, already knowing that him going up there and interfering with Kaido's fight was a death sentence, just adjusts his hat with Kaido saying, "So you're you're prepared for what happens next. And the dude just adjusts his hat and just stands there as Kaido kills him. He pretty much kills him. And Kaido uses all of his strength. And you can tell that Kaido is furious because he doesn't need to use conquerors with his attack in order to kill this man. But due to the anger that he felt, he didn't even have to imbue his Kanabo, the Hasaikai, with conquerors. But he does so in frustration and anger and rage that once again, a fight that he was enjoying, a fight with a person that he can acknowledge the strength of, was interrupted again 20 years later after his fight with Odin. He lets out all of his frustration, and you can tell that he's extremely mad because it cuts to the outside of the Onigashima Skull Dome, and you just see a massive explosion encompass the entire roof, and you see the streaks of Conqueror's lightning emit from this space. So regular attacks, you would just see a little bit area of, but Kaido uses every ounce of his strength to kill this CP0 agent. And it's so powerful that everyone sees the roof of the performance floor kind of cave in from the impact of him not hitting Luffy, but him venting his frustration and using all his strength to kill Bowler Hat Guy. And then the other CP0 agent that has been chilling, on inside the room with one of the Marys, just tips his hat, knowing what happened up there, knowing exactly what happened to Bowler Hat Guy up there at the top. And Kawamatsu is there, and the samurai are saying, "Look out, this Kawamatsu, the ceiling is collapsing." And Kawamatsu says, "There are still thousands of our comrades inside the building. We're up in the sky. There's no water here." And it shows that the whole place is still up in flames thanks to the Kazenbo from Kanjuro. There's nothing we can do to stop this conflagration. I beg of you, leap out of there. There is no glory in being burned to death. And as this happens, a massive explosion and a massive impact behind Kawamatsu catches everyone off guard, and it's hard enough to send numerous samurai flying from the impact zone. And it turns out that it's Kaido, who has already made his way down into the performance floor, shocking every single person who's there, from the Beast Pirates down to the samurai. With Kaido loudly proclaiming, "Where is your leader? I must have Momonosuke surrender. Straw Hat Luffy is dead. If anyone else wishes to challenge me, step forward." And then of the Beast Pirates who are still on his side says, "Yeah, he did it. Master Kaido was utterly victorious." And all the samurai are saying, "That's a lie. The man in the straw hat is." And Law and Kid are saying Straw Hat's voice has vanished. And Kid says it was a short-lived dream. And Law says this is cold, brutal reality. There's nothing left in the tank. And then, of course, Chopper just goes off and he's crying, saying, "Luffy got beaten!" And then Nami comes out saying, "Hey, don't go out." And with someone saying, "Hey, don't go out there." And Nami says, "You want to let him get away with that? What is that overgrown snake talking about? Keep your preposterous lies to yourself. There's no way Luffy lost. Of course he's not dead. That's ridiculous." And then Kaido sees Nami, saying, "Well, at least one of you has some moxie." And she says, "You're a liar. I don't believe you." And Kaido proceeds to just go nuclear on her and tries to kill her with Bolo Breath, but Nami is saved by Marco, with telling her to get back, don't lose your composure, not before it's all over, with Nami kind of recoiling from almost getting killed here, just silently saying Luffy. And then Kaido says, "Onigashima will soon land upon the flower capital as originally planned. Unlike Orochi, I am no pushover. This entire country is one gigantic weapons factory. Women, children, I'll use them all. Everyone here is a slave. When you tire and fall apart, you'll simply die. It's all your life is worth. And there are always more replacements. You dared to fight back against me, and you have earned my wrath. This is what it means to lose a war. The cost of your defeat is your freedom and your hope." And of course, with this massive, Kaido's just talking down to everyone. And it's just filling all the samurai with despair. Kaido was far, far more in the right than a certain recent incident. Kaido says, bring Momonosuke to me. The battle's not over until I deal with him. Oh, one thing I forgot to do because I had the pages up was go through the synopsis and quick references of chapter 1042 real quick. Quick notes is Drake attacks the lead CP0 member. The agent survives the attack and retaliates with Shigan. Toko prepares a sky ship lantern. The fight between Luffy and Kaido continues. Kaido can use advanced observation haki. Luffy is shown to be able to shift between Gear 4th forms, so he goes from Snake Man to Bounce Man effortlessly without having to go back to his normal form first. So that's interesting to note and to remember. He can shift between his Gear 4 forms now that we haven't seen beforehand. As the two prepare to attack each other, the lead CP0 agent arrives and holds Luffy back. The distraction reminded Kaido of how his fight against Oden was interrupted by Higurashi. As a result, Luffy takes Kaido's attack head-on, while Kaido himself looks on in shock. So that's the major elements of 1042. I got the ones here for 1043, and we'll go over it. So the Beast Pirates, now regaining their morale after seeing Kaido come down, they regain their resolve, and they proceed to go towards Law and Kid, and they try to attack them, but Jean Bart and members of Kid's crew, they both defend their captains. And Nekomamushi is heading back towards the back to Onigashima, back into the palace, because they're on the outside right now. Nekomamushi is there with Carrot, and they're heading back with him saying, "We got to get up there. Come on." Then it cuts to the basement where it says, "It's nothing but flames on all sides. We must go. Is there no way out? Search for an exit." So there are still samurai in the basement who are trying to get out, but they're kind of trapped within the flames. And then Kid and Law get up, both incredibly winded, completely tired, nothing left. Kid starts to gather some metal around his arms with him saying, "I'm going to fight, Trafalgar. No surrender. No going out without a peep." And Law just silently saying, "Darn it, Straw Hat," as he gets majorly tired. And Momonosuke is on the outside saying, "This is madness. I can't do it. If Luffy could not beat him, how can I?" And he's going back and forth with Yamato, and they're arguing with Momonosuke saying, like, "This will only be adding more bodies to the pile. It galls me, but if Luffy's already lost, then my only option is surrender." And Yamato says, "No, I won't let you do that. What will that survival even mean? Only a return to slavery? Counting down the days to death? Surrender is not the same as salvation. This is what the daimyo from all over Wano did when they gave their lives fighting back against Orochi. The last 20 years of Wano is riding upon this battle. If you're going to let it go to waste, then let's face death together." And then Momonosuke kind of gets silent, and he just stares at Yamato, and Yamato stares at him. As the fighting goes on, and then in the next panel, it shows Kaido just laying waste to all the samurai in the performance floor. He's just bolo breathing everyone and just wreaking havoc on everyone. Then it cuts to the rooftop where Luffy is laying there, presumably dead. And then his heart starts beating. Then it shows Zunisha talking to Momonosuke saying, "Momonosuke, I can hear it. How long has it been? I hear the drums of liberation. For the first time in 800 years, he is here." "Who is?" says Momonosuke. "Joy Boy has returned," as Luffy starts to transform and wake up. And that is the end of chapter 1043. If we go down here to the quick notes, Kaido defeats Luffy, knocking him out. It doesn't say that he killed Luffy, but he knocked him out. But I wouldn't be surprised if he put Luffy in a comatose state. Kaido then attacks his CP0 agent in retaliation. Kaido enters the Skull Dome and declares his victory over Luffy. The Beast Pirates celebrate while the Alliance is distraught. Kaido attacks Nami with Bolo Breath, when she calls him a liar, but Marco blocks his attack. So let's just take note here. Let's not overshadow the fact that Marco was able to come in and intercept Kaido's attack and block it completely with his Phoenix Flames. It just shows that mythical Zoan types are capable, I wouldn't be surprised if the capabilities of certain mythical Zoans are able to counter one another or be strong enough to withstand each other. Because we've seen Kaido use all these fantastically powerful attacks before, and Marco is able to shield himself against it. You want to know something that's really unique about Marco's Phoenix fruit? is the fact that not only has he shown that he's able to block Akainu's magma with his flames, and his flames are not even hot. They're more concussive than they are actually burning. The fact that he's able to defend himself against not only magma, but also the power of Kaido as well, which just shows me that when it comes to mythical Zoans, they are in a league all their own when it shows their capabilities. So, little thing for Marco right there is when he's able to defend himself against an attack that has essentially shown to destroy entire castles, entire mountain ranges, and leave scorched earth wherever it hits. Like, the first display of his Bolo breath was him completely destroying the Kozuki castle and the little bit of the mountain that it was on. And here we have Marco coming in, blocking it, saving Nami. The Beast Pirates celebrate while the Alliance are distraught. Kaido attacks Nami with Bolo Breath when she calls him a liar, but Marco blocks his attack. Kid and Law prepare to fight once more as the live floor fight continues. Nekomamushi and Carrot also hurry back to the live floor. Kaido issues an ultimatum to Momonosuke to personally surrender before him. Momonosuke wants to comply to stop anyone else from dying, but Yamato convinces him to fight on. Momonosuke stops pulling Onigashima and heads towards the Skull Dome. So, Momonosuke has stopped. In this chapter, Momonosuke has stopped pulling on Onigashima to move it from the Flower Capital. He's no longer gripping it anymore. Well, granted, he was already pulling Onigashima away from the Flower Capital already, so they're already a good distance, so just in case something happens, it won't happen near the Flower Capital. But Momonosuke has let go and stopped trying to pull Onigashima and he pretty much heads up to the top. Then Zunisha suddenly talks to Momonosuke and declares that it can hear that Joy Boy has returned. At the same time, back on the roof, Luffy starts grinning while an unknown substance covers his face and steam starts coming from his body. So that are the little snippets from chapter 1043. The next chapter is the biggest one. The biggest chapter that we've had in One Piece thus far. I put it up there with the ultimate chapter, and I put it up there with the chapter where it talks more about Joy Boy and everything. This next chapter, chapter 1044, one of the biggest chapters that we've seen in One Piece, called chapter 1044, Warrior of Liberation. Because not only did we get exposition from the five elders, and you only know we are about to get some major world secret information that no one else knows in the world of One Piece whenever the Gorosei ever show up. You guys can see me, right? The lighting's still good. Yes, this is a very good light. And I also like the fact that I can change the color of the lighting as well. Like have it like warm or completely white like this. I love these effects. Oh, they're so good. But let me bring it up just a bit. Okay, they're good. We're good. Marco is the one who is doing the most work, is the one who did the work in this arc. He's doing it all. Yes! Ever since Marco showed up to Wano, he not only knocked the chanter off of Wano with all of the Charlotte children on there, he's also contended with both king and queen, able to fight both of them evenly, even though he says it was a tough fight. Helped Chopper pretty much save a vast majority of the people on the performance floor using his Phoenix Pyre Apple, so Chopper could cure everyone of the Oni rounds. He pretty much helped out the entire arc. If we want to talk about people who really helped out and did a whole bunch during this entire arc, Marco has shown that even if it's just him by himself, he is a massive help. Like, he tried to help Zoro get up to the roof, but had to contend with King and Queen. Marco did the most. Out of everyone of the Straw Hat crew and everyone else, Marco came in and was helping everybody. Marco's supreme support class. He just came in, started helping everyone out, and just did it successfully. There wasn't a single moment where Marco did something and it actually failed. He was just helping, and it really did shape the course of a lot of the battles that were happening in the course of Wano. But chapter 1044 Warrior of Liberation, a chapter that broke the internet, that made everyone lose their minds. It was so substantial that it showed up in, I want to say, France, on a news telecast, where they were saying like One Piece takes the world by storm, or it hits the One Piece, sets off the internet, or whatever. One Piece, this chapter blew the minds of everybody. If Marco wasn't there, the Big Mom pirates would have arrived, and the Ice Oni virus would have taken most of the Alliance out. See, that's the even wager. If Queen would have used the Ice Oni rounds at all, Marco is the MVP of Wano. Yes, he is. He is. Of all the things that we've seen in Wano, Marco arriving and helping out with the Alliance is pretty much the biggest MVP moment of Wano. Whereas in Whole Cake Island, we had Brook, where he was facing off against Big Mom. We had Zoe, and we had Nekomamushi and Inuarashi. Then we had Wano show up, and we had the numerous moments of the Straw Hats, but the big MVP moment is when the Alliance and the Rebellion went down, and Marco showed up, and he was just helping everyone out, saving numerous people. That's the big MVP moment right there. But in chapter 1044, we get Luffy saying, "What happened to me? Why can I still stand?" And then we have this drum beat, which is essentially Luffy's heart. His heart is beating to a specific beat. And Zunisha can hear it. And Momonosuke can hear it. And Luffy is saying, "Even though I lost, I'm having fun for some reason." And he just starts laughing. And this is when Momonosuke is starting to fly up to the roof. And from the roof, Luffy is already emitting Conqueror's Haki, because we see lightning emanating from him. He's still kind of getting up and he's laughing, but he's just letting out a massive wave of Conqueror's Haki as he's getting up. And Momonosuke says, "Luffy is Joy Boy?" And then Yamato, hearing this, says, "Is that what Zunisha is saying?" We cut to the pleasure hall where Sanji was getting tended to, and he wakes up and he hears Luffy. Kid looks up and he hears him. Law looks up and he hears him. Grandpa Hyogoro hears him. Marco hears him. Nami and Tama hear him. And they're both crying their eyes out. Then we cut to Sacred Marijois, where we get the big exposition. Sacred Marijois, with one of them saying, "The Hall of Power in Pangaea Castle. So we've lost an elite agent and made Kaido angry. What was the point?" With one of them saying, "What if I told you that there was a potential future that would make us beg for this outcome? It is always better to eliminate dangerous variables." And then the bald member, the one that's always having the wooden sword next to him, wooden cane sword next to him, says, "In every era, the world government has attempted to recover the gum-gum fruit, and not once has it ever succeeded. For 800 years. It is as though the devil fruit is trying to escape our grasp, and it very well might be." And then we learn that apparently Zoan fruits have a will of their own. That's not just something you can just gloss over. Out of all the devil fruits that we know of, Zoan fruits contain a will of their own. And this particular fruit has the name of a god. The other name of the gum-gum fruit is the Zoan-type human fruit, mythical type, model Nika. And it shows Luffy jumping into the air, akin to how the silhouette of Who's Who's Story of Nika, way back when he was speaking to Jinbei, shows Nika jumping into the air in front of the sun. It shows Luffy in that same exact pose jumping in front of the moon, possessing a body with the properties of rubber, and fighting in whatever way he fancies, bringing smiles to the faces of the people. The Warrior of Liberation, also known as Nika, the Sun God. Awakening brings his rubbery body greater physical strength and freedom. It is said that in all the world, there is no power more ridiculous. And then it just continues to show Luffy emitting Conqueror's Haki as we cut to the treasure repository, where Hiyori is speaking to Orochi before revealing herself. And Orochi was saying, I loved Odin too, you know. Think carefully now. I was being used by Kaido, trying to do everything he can to try and get himself out of this situation. Come, let's escape his wrath together. Now undo the nails. Now remember, Orochi is still buried underneath massive piles of rubble. And since he has these Kairoseki nails in his body, he cannot move or transform into his Yamata no Orochi form. So he's steadily being crushed by these rocks, and he can't do anything about it. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. So Luffy's heartbeat just awakened like Gear 2nd because of the Devil Fruit. I can imagine how well they'll do the sound design and effects of this form when they finally get to this point in the anime. I mean, given the point that we're on hiatus with the anime, it's gonna be a hot minute. That one tried to sneak up on me while I was speaking. Not today. Oda just confirmed the demon inside the fruits. It would sound that way, or it could just, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's actually a thing. We don't know. Even though Gear 5 doesn't have limitations like Gear 4, because Gear 5 is about freedom and imagination, it must have consequences at the end. I mean, think about it. Gear 5 to Luffy is what Ultra Instinct is for Goku. Sure, he has an insurmountable amount of power, but since he's just now first tapping into this power, there's going to be some drawbacks. Remember his drawbacks when he first used Gear 3rd. He would shrink into a chibi form, and he had to learn how to get used to it so he wouldn't shrink. Then Gear 4th, he would use it, and he would be massively tired and unconscious because of how much hockey it drains out of him. Imagine the physical drawback of Gear 5, where it brings out the absolute limits. It brings out the absolute limits of what the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika can actually do. Just imagine the drawbacks. But it shows Hiyori here with Orochi. And Hiyori goes back and says, like, you promised my father that you would, after you've kicked dirt upon every samurai to whom you owed a debt, who do you expect will listen to you now? My father upheld his promise to you, did he not? He trusted in the deal that he made with you and Kaido to liberate Wano. For 5 long years, my father danced and made a fool of himself, never once explaining himself to his own family. My father kept his word. He believed that you would free the people in the end, and withstood 1 hour of your boiling cauldron. He withstood the searing burns of the bubbling oil. Despite the smile that never left his face, he bore your torments all alone because the entire country was taken hostage. His suffering was unimaginable. And then she thinks back to her father when she was saying, doesn't it feel bad when everybody says mean things about you, father? And he says, not at all, my dear. And then she says, why not? And he says, because I have all of you. Just, showing that the Giga Chad of One Piece is also one of the most wholesome fathers in the entire One Piece series. One of the best fathers in the entire series. Even though he went out of his way to look like a major idiot in front of everyone in Wano. And Wano just thought that Odin was a complete joke. He was content knowing that he at least still had his family, and that was good enough for him. So, yeah, amazing father. Then she takes off her mask, and Orochi is surprised to see the crying face of Hiyori saying, my name is Kozuki Hiyori. Hold your tongue, you knave. As Orochi says, actually, I realize now that Oda was a great samurai. In fact, speaking as Shogun, I think your father deserves. It's funny, and I bring this up again, it's funny how Orochi is going out of his way to still try and call himself Shogun, even though he is not in an advantageous situation right now. You would think that if you're face to face with the child of the person whose throne you stole, you would not be still calling yourself the ruler of Wano in front of this person who has made it so that you cannot escape from being crushed to death by this rubble you're currently buried under. You would think that a smart person would not say anything to antagonize an individual that is pretty much someone who could possibly help you escape. If they were, you would think that a smart person would shut up and stop trying to antagonize the child of the person you had killed. You would think. But he says, in fact, speaking as Shogun, just, how, what is the dude's name from Braveheart? the guy that's speaking to Longshanks, saying like, I am well versed in military tactics and strategy, and Longshanks ends up throwing him out of a window. I saw that clip earlier last week. That's why it's come to mind here. This is Orochi bringing up a what is it? Frederick? I forget the dude's name from Braveheart. It's like he knows he should probably shut up, but his bravado and his overconfidence and his stupidity causes him to keep speaking, which then leads to more consequences, like how Longshanks threw the dude out the window. After he was all like, who's this person who dares to who's this person who tries to speak and give me advice? Like, this is Orochi saying, like, this is Orochi speaking more than he should to a person. Not William Wallace, the guy, the Longshanks' son's military advisor friend. I forget. I never watched the entire movie of Braveheart, so I only know from the one clip where Longshanks throws the dude out the window. That's as far as I know. But Orochi, like Julian says, Joker said, people show their true colors when they're at the edge of death. Orochi shows his a worm. Yes, it shows him to be a sniveling, groveling little worm. Because he has no way to rescue himself. But Hiyori shuts him up, saying, my name is Kozuki Hiyori, hold your tongue, you knave. And he immediately shuts up. No matter the growling of my empty stomach and the rags I had to wear, I never shamed my father's name. You were never the shogun, not even for a single day. Oda drew Hiyori's face as the best panel. It really is highly detailed here. Like, it shows the redness of her eyes. It shows the shadow of her face. It shows the tears coming from her eyes, the little snot from her nose. It shows the overall emotions that Hiyori has shown every single time she has the mask on. This is the face that Hiyori has. Because she says that she's always crying and she never smiles whenever she has a mask on, and she's playing the Moon Princess song that Odin's always liked. So this is the face that Hiyori has always hid to the best of her ability whenever she had the mask on. But she says, no matter the growling of my empty stomach and the rags I had to wear, I never shamed my father's name. You were never the shogun, not even for a single day. Wicked, foolish, and wretched. The worse you became, the greater the insult to the lives that were lost. And then it shows Hiyori getting up, walking towards Orochi. And then the vestige of the Kazenbo comes up, and it's very, very small. It's very small, coming up to Orochi with the Kazenbo saying, I have failed. Krasmataz! Wano has been a really interesting arc about the traditional Japanese concept of glory and honor through death and battle, and how the changing times don't always bring fear. You're completely right. A lot of running themes in One Piece, and they tend to center on running themes through each arc, and this one is like glory and honor through death and battle, rather than, running away from battle or doing anything of that nature. It's been a center stage theme throughout all of the Wano arc. Man, it got really dark outside. From the scabbards, the Kozuki, the role Kaido plays in trying to be Joy Boy and failing, which we come to find out that with specific devil fruit, one of the caveats of it is that awakening the Hito Hito no Mi, which I'll get to the overview. Wano is connected to the lore of the Void Century, the meaning of the will of D. Well, I mean, is it really? Is it really? I mean, there's cues here and there, but there isn't exactly too many lore points that points to the meaning of the will of D, or the meaning of D. We just hear it brought up here and there, but it does play a large role in the overall world, because, I mean, the poneglyphs come from Wano, and only the people, only Odin knows, and the Kozuki clan know of how to write into poneglyphs. So the Void Century stuff, yeah, I can get behind, but the meaning of the will of D still needs to be discovered. But let me get back to this chapter, and then we'll go over the nature of the Devil Fruit as well. It says in the flashback of Odin, and then maybe I just forgot, but it shows the Kazembo left over by Kanjuro coming up to Orochi, and then we see the sniveling, miserable worm that he is trying to have a one last laugh against the Kozuki clan by saying, "No, perfect timing. I give you a new play to perform. Burn that woman to death. Leap onto her clothing, and he starts laughing crazily. We'll call it the failure of the woman's 20-year revenge. Alas, what a tragic tale. Witness the plight of Iori, remnant of the Kozuki name. This is the fate of all who were once mighty." Now, the thing is, Orochi's not free. He's doing all this gloating, but he's still buried. Does he not realize that if Hiyori were to get killed, there's no one to pull them Kairoseki nails out of him? So he's still trapped. Not exactly smart. You understand? The dude is stupid. If he kills the only person that he was really hoping to get and set him free, how he gonna get out? Because he's not able to move right now. He's buried. He can't get out. So not very smart to have the person that you would hope to free you get killed and burned to death, because then you'll still be buried. Orochi is a stupid. But the Kazenbo doesn't listen to him and proceeds to touch him. And in that instant, Orochi goes up in flames and he immediately starts burning. And he's trapped in these rocks as well. So imagine, you're crushed underneath these heavy pieces of rubble, these heavy pieces of roof that just fell onto you, and you can't move. Plus, you can't transform into your Zoan form because you have Kairoseki nails secretly stuck into you. So, you're left motionless, buried under this rubble, and now you get touched by this flaming ghost flame, and it touches you, and it immediately sets you on fire completely, with you having no way to stop, drop, and roll. You're just stuck there, burning. It's like Orochi said, this is the fate of all who were once mighty. And it's funny how he prophesies his own demise by saying this is the fate of all of those who were once mighty, and he just goes up in flames in front of Hiyori. Kinda not smart to do all that bravado-related stuff, is it? And as Hiyori stands there, she just says, "The dawn is sure to come. The Kozuki clan always keeps its promises. The Lannister always pays its debts." And we cut from the whole conversation with Orochi and Hiyori, and we cut to the rooftop where Luffy is still jumping up in the air and his heartbeat is still beating in that different manner, with him saying, "Oh, I can do everything I want it to do. I think I can fight a little longer. My heartbeat sounds so funny." And his heartbeat is beating rhythmically to a different type of tune. Now we just need to find out what this heartbeat actually is, whether it's the heartbeat of the drums of We Are, or the, like Roger Bay says, the drums of bum, 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 bum. Ba 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 ba. Not gonna lie, you would like to know what happened with the Kurozumi clan to warrant a genocide? Here's the thing. This touches all the way back when Orochi first met Kurozumi Higurashi Krasmataz. It happened way back when we find out that the grandfather of Orochi tried to usurp the throne of the Kozuki clan by poisoning everyone involved with the throne, but all of that failed when all of that failed when Odin was born. I believe all that failed when Odin was born, and because the Kurozumi clan pretty much went up the ladder of daimyos in Wano back in the past, back when they were a clan. Actually, you know what? How about we just look up the Kurozumi clan and see this history of it so you can know, instead of me trying to do from memory. One Piece Wiki is so useful. So, here, the Kurozumi family is a family of Kurozumi Orochi, the shogun of Wano, formerly. Several decades ago, they were one of the 6 ruling families in Wano, but lost their power after a failed attempt to seize the shogunate. However, they successfully conspired another coup on the shogunate 2 decades ago with the help of Kaido, resulting in Orochi becoming shogun. So, with the history of it is a few generations ago, the Kurozumi family was one of the 6 most prominent, and this is for you, Krasmataz, was one of the 6 most prominent families in Wano, with their leaders serving the Kozuki family by ruling as daimyo over an unknown region. When the current shogun had not fathered an heir, the 5 daimyo became the top candidates for the position. Right there. The head of the Kurozumi family proceeded to work towards gaining the shogunate by poisoning the other daimyo. However, his plans were foiled when the shogun suddenly fathered an heir, Kozuki Sukiyaki, Odin's father. At some point afterwards, the Kurozumi family's plot was then brought to light, and they lost all of their power and possessions as their leader was sentenced to commit seppuku. In the following years, the remaining family members were hunted and lynched by a majority of Wano's extrajudicial citizens out of self-righteousness and revenge for the death of the daimyo Kurozumi's leader had poisoned. For many years, everyone with the name Kurozumi was targeted, regardless of having any involvement in the crime, and were brutally beaten and killed. Kanjuro's parents were also killed as a result of this persecution. In turn, this biased persecution gave many originally innocent Kurozumi clan's members, such as Orochi and Kanjuro, a legitimate reason to resent and hate Wano country, having their childhood ruined and destroyed by self-righteous citizens. So that's the history of the Kurozumi clan and why things turned out the way they did. But going back to this, Luffy says, "My heartbeat is so funny. This is the pinnacle of what I can do. This is Gear 5. And in a massive burst of conquerors, everyone on the performance floor feels it. Kaido immediately stops attacking everyone. Beast pirates start passing out one after the other. And Kaido has like a slight bead of sweat on him, wondering what is going on up there on the roof. And he thinks, what is up there on the roof? And then there's another burst of conquerors as more and more beast pirates start getting knocked out, and a ginormous hand comes through the hole in the roof, grabs Kaido completely around the body, and yanks him up through the roof and thrown into the air, with Chopper screaming out, "Is that Luffy?" And we see Luffy's kind of part of Luffy's face, and he's smiling. And Kaido's yanked upwards, and all the beast pirates are like, Kaido? But Kaido is yanked up through the roof forcefully beyond his control. And then Luffy engorges his arm, and we'll get to what this ability actually is and the full synopsis of it. He engorges his arm, and he still has his arm wrapped around Kaido and proceeds to go full-on Looney Tunes and spin him around repeatedly, showing Kaido's eyes coming out of his head like a cartoon character. And then proceeds to go full Bam Bam and just slam Kaido's head repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again on the ground. And then in one specific section of the panel, it shows Kaido with a comically large cartoon lump on his head. Like if you've seen Tom and Jerry, whenever they get knocked in the head and a big old knot just appears on their head, Kaido has those now as stars are around his, dizzy stars are around his head right now. With Luffy just laughing this entire time. And Kaido says, "Straw Hat, you survived. Thank you." And he tries to use a bolo breath at Luffy, and Luffy is laughing. And as the blast gets point blank to Luffy's face, Luffy sees this, goes full the mask. His eyes pop out of his head, and he just goes like, "Bah!" And then proceeds to use his awakened devil fruit abilities to, stretch and rip up a piece of the ground, causing it to be rubbery. Like I said, we'll get to the Hito Hito no Mi itself. He causes the ground to be rubbery as he rips it out of its foundation and causes the ground to be rubbery. He catches the Bolo Breath blast and then repels it directly back at Kaido. Now, normally, when Kaido blasts something with his Bolo Breath, it's destroyed. But here, because of Luffy's awakening, he made the ground rubbery to not only repel the attack, but also fully catch it. He essentially turned the ground into the properties of his Gum Gum Balloon ability, his Gum Gum Balloon move. He did that, catches Kaido's bolo breath as if it's a physical, tangible thing, and then rebounds it directly back at Kaido, and Kaido gets hit with it, and there's a massive explosion on the rooftop. And here we see Luffy in all of his glory. He's just normal size. He doesn't have engorged muscles or anything like that. He just has this massive wisp around him, like his usual gear forms. He just has this mist hanging around him, and his hair's all fiery colored, because it describes this form as his hair being fiery colored. So Oda teased this back in 1028, like you guys have said, and it just shows Gear 5, and Kaido gets up saying, I'm sorry about that idiot earlier, talking about the CP0 member, saying, I didn't want to win that way. And Luffy, showing his face with a little bit of cartoonish look to it, says, don't sweat it, let's finish this up. So, here, we have not only the true nature of Luffy's devil fruit revealed, but we also have its true name, its properties, and the history behind it from the words of the Gorosei, but we also see the strength of it as well. By far, one of the most substantial chapters in One Piece we have ever seen. So, now that that's the end of chapter 1044, let's go over the synopsis of it. So we have chapter notes. Luffy's devil fruit has awakened. He gets up and resumes attacking Kaido in a new form named Gear 5. We'll go over Gear 5 as we go over Gear 5. We'll talk about what we've learned in all of March, and then I'll conclude today's stream for today because I really want to get back to recording more Wonderlands. In this form, Luffy demonstrates the ability to instantly change his bulk and make the ground malleable to stretch it like rubber. Momonosuke reveals to Yamato what Yuzunesha had told him, that Luffy is Joy Boy. Luffy's allies are able to sense he is still alive from the loud sound of his heartbeat. His heartbeat is so loud that everyone can hear him. His heartbeat is so loud, everyone can hear it. Even Sanji, who was unconscious, was woken up by it. Everyone can hear the heartbeat of Luffy. That's how loud it is. You realize how loud your heartbeat has to be for people to hear it throughout an entire island? You gotta have a loud heartbeat. Sanji regains consciousness. The five elders reveal amongst themselves that the real name of the Gomu Gomu no Mi is the mythical zone Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. The five elders note that losing one of their top CP0 agents and angering Kaido is preferable to risking the awakening of the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. They said that them losing Bowler Hat Guy and making Kaido angry was actually the more preferable outcome rather than having the model Nika Hito Hito no Mi actually awaken. But now their nightmares are now made real because Luffy's still awakened. This is substantial. The Hito Hito no Mi awakening is something that the Gorosei actually fears. Sorry, the corner of my eye is itching. The Hito Hito no Mi model Nika is something that the Gorosei did not want to come to pass. They would rather lose one of their top CP0 agents and angering Kaido against the world government rather than seeing that devil fruit awaken. But now that's pretty much happened because Luffy's now messing up everything. They messed up interrupting the fight because Luffy has been awakened. Well, so much for that. You screwed up. Yeah, it was at this moment the world government knew. They messed up. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how substantial. It's crazy to think of that. The Gorosei thinks that a world where Kaido is angry at them and they lose one of their top agents is preferable to a future where the Hito Hito no Mi awakens. They would rather deal with an angry Kaido. They would rather deal with an angry Kaido than have the Hito Hito no Mi awaken. But, as D says, they don't know what the outcome is. They don't know what the outcome is, but they rather have to deal with an angry Kaido and losing one of their top agents than having the Hito Hito awaken. I feel like I've said that phrase multiple times already. Let me stop. But they don't know that it's awakened. But once they do, I don't think they're gonna stop it. They're not gonna stop at any. They're gonna stop at nothing to ensure that they either try and kill Luffy or they pull out all the stops to stop Luffy or try to make his progress as hard as possible. Because, as they said in this chapter, for 800 years, they tried to get the Hito Hito no Mi, but they never succeeded. And then we learn that Zoan Devil Fruits have a will of their own and wonder whether because of this, the Hito Hito no Mi has always managed to elude the world government. All 800 years, the world government has never been able to substantially have the Hito Hito no Mi itself. Think about it. The closest they ever got to getting the Hito Hito no Mi was back when Who's Who had it. That's the closest they ever got. They always said that it eluded him, which means that the moment that Shanks stole it was the closest that the world government ever had to actually having it. And the fact that it was being escorted to them was the closest they ever got. But Shanks came in and stole it, therefore restarting days without the Hito Hito no Mi. They have to restart that whole day counter again. So for 800 years, this devil fruit has eluded them. And the very thing that they feared is that the Hito Hito no Mi awakens, allowing whoever has it to access the powers of it, the full powers of it, becoming the warrior of liberation, able to bring smiles and hope and freedom to people. This very thing has happened without their knowledge, and they have absolutely no idea. And if the CP0 agent that's left sees Luffy in this awakened state and relays this information back to the Gorosei, things are going to start moving. Things are going to start moving in the world government and the Marines. Trust me. The very thing that they wanted to get their hands on, and they find out that Luffy has it, they're not going to stop until they get it back. And we might possibly see the SSG, possibly whatever this thing is. I'm throwing some theories out here, but once the world government finds out that Luffy has awakened the Hito Hito no Mi, that's when things are really going to start moving. But let me continue reading here. The five elders are shown to possess knowledge on the true nature of devil fruits, namely the secret property of Zoan fruits, which I believe they probably got from Vegapunk, because Vegapunk is the leading mind on devil fruits. Zoan devil fruits have a will of their own and wonder whether, because of this, the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika has always managed to elude the world government. The confrontation between Kozuki, Hiyori, and Orochi continues. Hiyori removes her mask and shows her angered and saddened face. A weakened Kazenbo arrives, whom Orochi mistakes as Kanjuro, and orders him to attack Hiyori, but Kazenbo attacks Orochi instead, setting him on fire. And then, lastly, it says the battle between Luffy and Kaido continues. Now, it's time we go over the Gum Gum fruit, also known as the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. So, the thing is, it's called the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, but the world government formally changed its name to the public to the Gum Gum fruit to make it more and more less likely for the public to learn of the fruit's true nature. Pay attention to Luffy, Oda says. After Wano arc, all the focus will be on Luffy because he has been awakened and he defeated Kaido. Oda was saving this reveal of Luffy's true devil fruit name in post-time skip in this arc. He didn't reveal during Alabasta or Annie's lobby. Oda is goated. He was waiting for this moment. Yes, he was really waiting for this moment. But let's go over the Hito Hito no Mi itself. The Gamu Gamu no Mi, originally known as the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, is a mythical Zoan-type devil fruit that allows the user to transform into the legendary sun god Nika and gain his attributes, namely a body with the properties of rubber. The world government renamed it in an effort to erase the fruit's original name from history, and as a result, it was reclassified as a paramecia-type fruit that ostensibly turned the user into a rubber human. The fruit was originally a treasure sought by the world government for over 800 years until it was stolen by Shanks and his crew in recent history. It was then accidentally eaten 12 years ago by the series protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy. So, we know that's just a little bit of history right there. Now we need to go to Gear 5 because this is substantial and I want you guys to pay attention. Gear 5, Gear 5th, is a technique created as a result of Luffy awakening his devil fruit. It was first seen during Luffy's third battle with Kaido on the Skull Dome rooftop. The awakening of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, also known as the Hito Hito no Mi Marunika, grants the user's rubber-like body increased strength and freedom limited only by the user's imagination. It is for this reason that the user is said to become the embodiment of freedom, able to bring joy to the people around them and making it the most ridiculous power in the world. One of the most notable features of the awakened form is granting cartoon-like effects, not only to the user, but also to their opponent, an example being eye-popping effects and cartoonish welts after a head injury. Like I said, Kaido had cartoon whelps on his head after Luffy banged his head against the roof multiple times. Also, while in this state, the user displays a grand state of elation and confidence. In this state, Luffy is able to utilize both the limb inflation of Gear 3rd and the muscle inflation of Gear 4th without the need to pump air into his body first. So, a substantial thing about this is the fact that normally Luffy would have to blow air into his limbs in order for him to do that. In Gear 5, he is able to do that just by pure force of will. He can enlarge his body to any size and any degree he wants to without taking the necessary steps that requires Gear 3rd or 4th in order to do. He can just say like, hey, I want my arm to be big, and he can just enlarge it that way. His body is malleable in the way of Mr. Fantastic now, more than it's just been, elastic like rubber. His body's now more malleable like Mr. Fantastic from Marvel, where he's able to change the shape of his body to whatever degree he wants without going through any pre-steps ahead of time. In this state, Luffy is able to utilize both the limb inflation of Gear 3rd and the muscle inflation of Gear 4 without the need to pump air into his body first, which he first used against Kaido. He was able to increase his arm to an enormous size in order to grab Kaido's transformed body and yank him out of the Skull Dome. With his enlarged limbs and muscles, Luffy could easily manhandle Kaido despite his enormous size, swinging him from side to side. Luffy's rubbery nature can be extended into the environment around him, as seen when Luffy stretched a section of roof and used it to bounce Kaido's bolo breath back at him. Interestingly, the altered terrain, while elastic, was neither burnt nor melted by the bolo breath, even though the attack was shown to be scorching hot and had enough explosive power to destroy a castle and a mountaintop, which I noted beforehand. In this state, Luffy's heartbeat takes on a musical rhythm which has been described by Zunisha as the drums of liberation. And here we have trivia here. Gear 5 seems to take inspiration from rubber hose animation and various cartoon effects. Gear 5 was first hinted at SBS Volume 98, which I put in the community tab for you guys, when a fan asked if it was coming, and Oda responded by surreptitiously noting that the world was in the process of transitioning to 5G broadband networks. In this form, Luffy's eyebrows become swirled and billowing, similar to Kaido in his dragon and hybrid forms. So, if I go back up here, and I go back to the mainstay of the Devil Fruit itself, there's a specific thing to note here. Where is it? It says there's one thing to note here is that awakening the Hito Hito no Mi entitles the person to the title of Joy Boy. It specifically said it here for its Devil Fruit that awakening it entitles the person to the title of Joy Boy. It said it here on one of these pages, but it says awakening this Devil Fruit entitles the person to the title of Joy Boy. But yeah, that's a Gomu Gomu no Mi as it states right now. And if we go down to the trivia specifically, this is the first Devil Fruit, specifically the first Paramecia type, depicted in the series. Upon its revealed to be a mythical Zoan Devil Fruit, it also makes it the first Zoan fruit to have been depicted in the series as well. So Oda pretty much just shown us not only that this is a first Paramecia type, but back when the world government classified it, but it was secretly a mythical Zoan type and a Zoan fruit at all during the this was our first introduction to a Zoan fruit in the history of One Piece, though we saw it as a Paramecia type at the time. But it's official that this is a Zoan fruit that Luffy has, not a Paramecia type. The world sees it as a Paramecia type, but we now know it that it's a Zoan type. So we've got introduced to Zoans at the beginning of the series, long before we came across Chopper. Long before we came across anybody in the series that had Zoan type devil fruits. This is the first devil fruit in the series. But going back to this, let's see. What else did I miss out? Right here. There's another thing to take note on there's another thing to take note of Gear 5. Where is it? Here it is. Awakening. This is the section of it. Once the fruit is awakened, the user undergoes a drastic transformation. Their hair becomes fiery and light-colored, their eyes become more manic-like, and they gain a strange wisp around their body. They also gain the ability to freely alter their physique however they desire, being able to inflate their muscles without the need for blowing air into them. In addition, they can alter the environment around them in a similar way, such as using the ground to deflect oncoming attacks. The fruit also allows the user to gain and give a cartoony effect, as such as when Kaido's eyes popped out in shock as Luffy grabbed him with a massive fist and twirled him around. Similar to previous developments of him using the fruit, Luffy dubs his awakening Gear 5. According to the Five Elders, the fruit had not been awakened for centuries prior to Luffy having done so. They considered that preventing the fruit from awakening might be worth incurring the wrath of Kaido, one of the four emperors, suggesting that they greatly fear the fruit's power. Like I said, they fear this fruit. The Five Elders, who are the highest power under Im-sama himself, they fear this fruit's power if it ever awakened. They would rather have Kaido angry at them, and they would rather they lose their top agents from CP0 than to have this fruit fully awakened. I said this back when in my previous reactions and reflections while I was saying, what is it about the gum fruit that has the world government on edge? And now we know. I said it multiple times. What is it about Luffy's fruit that has the world government so on edge that they would go out of their way to kill Luffy above all else? Where they would put chasing Nico Robin on the back burner in order to kill Luffy. What is it about his fruit that would make the world government shift gears so quickly? And we find out that it's Luffy's fruit. Is not a Paramecia type. It's not the gum fruit. It is a god-level mythical Zoan type fruit that the world government has been trying to get their hands on all this time. And now Luffy has awakened its power to the very thing that they've been trying to avoid. And this is the first time this fruit has awakened in 800 years since the first Joy Boy. Zoans is pretty much ignored, but now it becomes much more important. I mean, not really ignored, but because we have Marco, who is a Zoan type, mythical Zoans, it's a rare devil fruit. It is so rare that it's rarer than Logia fruits. Logia fruits are considered to be some of the most rare of devil fruits. But back when Kizaru was fighting against Marco, he pretty much said, like, even amongst Logia, the mythical Zoan types are among the most exceedingly rarest of devil fruits. And here, we have the most... I dare say that the Hito Hito no Mi Mono Nika is by far the most rarest of them all due to how hard the world government for 800 years straight has tried to get their hands on it. The most legendary and the most ridiculous, but also the most sought-after devil fruit of the world government is now in the hands of Luffy. Luffy is a Looney Tune now, Sun God Luffy, and why would Shanks steal it? Did Roger order Shanks to get this fruit? Who knows the reasons for Shanks going out of his way to steal this fruit? One thing is missing is a conga line of doom presided by Sun God Nika Luffy. If he actually is only limited by his imagination, what's stopping him from pulling out a King Kong Gatling? There's nothing stopping him from doing that. Because, as we've seen thus far, Luffy has yet to use armament with this awakening. That's the scary thing. He's already manhandling Kaido, and we haven't seen his arms blackened up with haki. We've seen him use Conqueror's haki and knock out a vast majority. I just thought of something. Remember how Luffy went out of his way and he knocked out half of Hody Jones's Fishman crew? And there was 100,000 Fishmen going up against them during the Fishman Island arc. And Luffy uses Conquerors and he knocks out half of them. He knocks out 50,000. How many Beast Pirates did Luffy just knock out completely with this massive island-wide Conqueror's Haki blast did he just knock out just now? Because if it's large enough for him to just knock out just constantly knock out numerous Beast Pirates, and Kaido can sense it, and it actually gets Kaido kind of anxious a little bit. How many people did Luffy just knock out going into this awakening? Hopefully this form will be more like the movie versions of the mask and less like the comics version. The comics version is a lot more brutal. The comic version is a lot more gore-filled than the movie version. Almost sounded like my phone was ringing. But from what we've seen, we haven't even seen Luffy use armament with this yet. And we haven't actually seen Luffy use any attacks. He hasn't named any attacks yet. He's just been using his imagination and just been fighting Kaido normally. No named attacks, just slamming, he's just been doing basic stuff. No named Hito Hito no Mi or Gum Gum stuff. He's just been taking Kaido and just using his own physical strength to beat up on Kaido. That's it. And all of this, and we haven't even seen him use haki yet. We haven't seen him use haki in conjunction with him attacking Kaido or armament or anything like that. But we just gotta wait for the next chapter, which is happening next week. Oh, I can't wait to read it. So with all this that's going on, well, first let me note every single person that just came in today. Gadasan, Destruct, DJ, CJ as well. DJ and CJ. I didn't realize that I had a DJ and CJ here. It just pieced in here. Julian as well. Good to see you. Let me note everyone who came in. Krasmataz, always a pleasure to see you here. So much to talk about. Okay, I think we're good now. I think we're good. Hopefully nothing got cut off too bad. Oh, I was just noting everyone who was here. One Piece Looney Tunes World. It's amazing how Oda has shown us that he is able to just show secrets in front of us from the very beginning of the series, and we have absolutely no idea. I bet no one even thought for a fact that Luffy had a Zoan fruit this whole time, because we were told that he had a Gum Gum fruit this entire time, and we just ran with it. Even with the Gorosei saying, like, since the name of this fruit changed, some of us, we just thought, like, well, what's the name of this fruit? But we never really thought of Luffy being an actual Zoan. And now we come to find out that he's not only a Zoan, but he's also a mythical Zoan. And not only a mythical Zoan, but he's also a sun god Zoan. Yo, D-Train, good to see you as always. It's just going through this entire series, seeing everything that's been transpiring through Wano and everything. Like, we've seen the power of Big Mom, we've seen the power of Kaido, we've seen the power of Zoro, we've seen the power of Sanji, we've seen the power of so many different people and individuals and their strength and everything. And it's like, why can't Pirate Warriors 5 be like this? But we're getting One Piece Odyssey, which is an upcoming RPG game. So I'm going to need to see some gameplay before I, shell out money for it. I need to see gameplay first above all else before I can get behind One Piece Odyssey. Because the last One Piece game I got was One Piece World Seeker. And while it was fun, it could have been so much more. So now I'm kind of, watching and seeing where the game goes. So we're going to need more gameplay. Plus, remember the 7 Deadly Sins game is coming out as well. It's in development, so a lot of anime games. That's why Luffy can almost tank all of Katakuri's attacks. I mean, he's a Zoan. Yes, he's a Zoan, but the benefits of him being able to tank these attacks is not just because he's a Zoan, but because of the rubber properties of his body. Because Zoans gain increased durability when they're in their hybrid and animal forms. Luffy, during the entire course of this series, has just been in a rubbery state. So that's just, and I wouldn't call that his... Could we call that his animal form then, if he's just in a rubbery body? Could we? All this time, Luffy's just been using the rubber properties of the Hito Hito no Mi that we've seen, and that's what's been allowing him to tank a lot of these attacks that has happened to him. But it's when Zoans turn into their hybrid forms where they gain increased strength and durability even further than what we've seen. So Luffy now going... I heard something. I heard something go off. I thought I heard something. Luffy has the same as Marco now, 3 properties. He doesn't actually, because he doesn't have the intangibility of a Zoan. He's missing that. So he only has 2 properties. He has the probabilities of a Paramecia and the Zoan qualities of a Zoan, but he's lacking the intangibility and elemental-like effects of a Logia. So he's not the same as Marco. Marco is the only person that we've seen that has access to all 3. Luffy, he has access to 2. And Kaido is yet to show his awakening too. Yes, because we've seen awakened Zoans. And Luffy can place himself amongst the Minotaur guards of Impel Down now as awakened Zoan users. Now, we don't know. Here's the thing. We see this awakening from Luffy. What is Kaido going to do in retaliation? Because as we are seeing here in the chapters 1044, Kaido is pretty much helpless to stop Luffy from just slamming him over and over and over again. So we've yet to see if Kaido has an awakening as well and what that could possibly mean. But we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't want to get into any theories or anything. I want to wait until this upcoming chapter comes out so we can discuss it. All I know is that the world government better prepare for the worst, because their very worst fear that has been on their minds since the inception of the world government, the thought of the Hito Hito no Mi awakening in their lifetime, has now happened. And once the world government learns that Luffy has that power, and he's awakened it, trouble for Luffy from the world government is going to happen more often. And there's still so many loose ends to tie up once Wano is over, but I don't want to get off into that because that's just going to take an extra long amount of time. We just need to think about the future of Luffy now that the most sought-after devil fruit that the world government has been trying to get their hands on for 800 years, Luffy now has awakened it. And now they're going to put in think about it. They're probably going to put an even higher bounty on Luffy because he awakened his devil fruit now. So we're just going to Big Mom coming back. Also, we don't know. It's very easy to say these things. It's very easy to assume that this stuff seems probable, even though Big Mom says, don't think this is going to be the end of me or anything like that, but we don't know. We have to see. We have to see after Wano is over who all is left standing. I know it sounds good to say like Big Mom is coming back, all this and all that, but we don't have any evidence to point to that, so they're basically just theories at this point. But we just have to wait and see for these chapters to come out, because we don't want to set any expectations without any evidence to prove this. So it's best to try and temper our expectations about what we may or may not see in these upcoming chapters, so that way people are not left disappointed when certain things that they've theorized doesn't happen. We just got to wait and see. all I can say is that for a month of March where I turned 30, the biggest chapter of One Piece happened. One of the biggest chapters in the history of One Piece has happened, and I'm grateful that I was able to see another birthday and see it happen. It was just... The world of One Piece is getting more and more broader, and I feel like we're going to have another massively awesome chapter when we're finally introduced to Vegapunk, where we finally learn how devil fruits work, where we finally learn how he's able to imbue them into weapons or how he's able to replicate them or whatever. When we're finally introduced to Vegapunk and we learn what devil fruits are and how they're able to mess with people on a metaphysical level, down to the body where their whole body makeup just flat out changes. When we learn how devil fruits work, that's when we're just going to learn like, oh, so this is how this happens. This is how that happens. When it's explained to us, that's just going to be another mystery off the list. Luffy being a sun god is what makes his eventual fight with Blackbeard all the more legendary. Luffy is the sun that lights the world, while Teach is the darkness that will consume the sun. His darkness swallowed up Luffy's sun. Who decided that? His power doesn't have an effect on Blackbeard because of the Yami Yami no Mi. Who decided that? Luffy will be the one who gets to decide. Seriously, it's like this year's truly a reveal stuff in One Piece, and we're only in March. This is the last day of March, mind you, but we're only 3 months. We're only 3 months into this year. And we're having all this stuff revealed to us now. We have 9 more months left of One Piece waiting for us. We haven't seen anything yet. And I'm going to say this as someone who, I don't really go big on theories like Tekking does or Roger does or anything like that. But I can say that this year is going to be absolutely massive for One Piece. If the first 3 months of this year revealed all of this to us, what are the next 9 gonna do? I'm kind of concerned because I lost my mind over this last chapter. How many more times is this series gonna make me lose my mind for the next 9 months? We're entering into April tomorrow. Who knows what's going to get revealed to us in April's first chapter? But all I can say is, as I close this stream out at 1 hour and 42 minutes, One Piece has been, and I agree with you, D-Train, I agree with you, DJ. One Piece has been an absolutely insane series. And over the course of these past 3 years, we've seen some substantial info given to us, some fantastic world building, fantastic story writing, fantastic images created by Oda, and we have 9 months more of that this year, so I don't think any of us are fully mentally prepared for what we are about to witness from One Piece, but it's about to be absolutely amazing. It's just amazing how far this series has come. People thought this series was ridiculous. Oh, Oda draws women funny in this. This is ridiculous. I can't take this seriously. Oh, this thing is crazy in this story of One Piece. I can't take it seriously, but it's really gripping the world by storm right now. And I say this as a literal storm is happening outside of my house. The story of One Piece has transcended what it used to be. It transcended being just like another manga into one of the biggest mangas in the world. One of the biggest stories in the world that continues to captivate people. From its characters to its story and its narrative, Oda has been on an absolute roll the past 20, 30, 40, 50 chapters recently. Ever since Wano started, he's been on a massive roll. The only thing that I really had an aversion to was the whole deal with Kinemon still being alive after being stabbed through the back by Kaido, and we find out that his body isn't exactly pieced back together since Law himself wasn't the one who put him back. That's the only small thing, but it's minute in the light of all the things that we've learned. But ever since Wano started, it's just been a nonstop roller coaster of awesome, and more awesome. That's all I can say. And March is no different. By far, March is one of the biggest months of One Piece that we've had recently, especially with all the revelations that we've learned, all the things we learned, Gear 5 and Awakening. Think about it. We've made theories and we had hopes of, oh, maybe we'll see Gear 5 or maybe we'll see an Awakening from Luffy. But never did we think we would get a chapter where we would have an Awakening and Gear 5 at the exact same time. No one saw that coming. We thought we would get a chapter with Gear 5 on its own, and some of us thought we would get a chapter with Awakening on its own. But none of us were prepared for getting Awakening and Gear 5 in the same exact chapter from the same exact person. None of us thought that. So it just shows that Oda's always been one step ahead of us every single time. One Piece actually got some more mainstream media coverage and clout this past week before the altercation. I'm tired of hearing about this altercation. I'm tired of hearing about it. I am so tired of hearing about this altercation between you-know-who and you-know-who and the slap heard around the world. I am so tired of seeing that on people's lips so often. It's like, you ain't got nothing better to do than to talk about these two celebrities who don't know we exist. Giving attention to the wrong thing. Still rank Wano in A tier. I still want someone to die, like a real death. Someone in the Straw Hat allies. No fake deaths. If Oda pulled this death thing in this art like Ace and Whitebeard and Marineford, who knows? We'll just have to see. But these have been great chapters. I was glad I was able to give you guys my reflections on these 3 chapters of One Piece. We just got to wait and see what the next chapter is going to hold for us. Oh, I can't wait. And I want to let everyone know here that don't hint at anything, especially if you're the type of individual that reads chapters before they're put on Shonen Jump on the Viz site that I read from. Don't hint at anything. I don't want to know. I don't care to know. I only want to find out when I read the chapters themselves. I pride myself on being a reaction channel that looks at stuff for the very first time for you guys, and I don't know anything prior. I'm not that type of person that will look up things a little bit just to see like, oh, okay, so this is going to happen, so I might as well be prepared for that. I don't do that. I would rather I read the chapter the day it comes out for you guys to see my entire reaction, so you guys know that you're getting a completely genuine reaction to things of that I don't know. That's what I pride myself on. So if anyone thinks that it's okay to say like, hey, this is going to happen in this chapter or that's going to happen in that chapter, I don't care to know. And I want to say this again, just for everyone. I don't care to know any spoilers. I don't like spoilers. I rather the chapters tell me in front of my eyes than anything else. I want to reiterate this just in case anyone gets any funny ideas about mentioning anything from previous videos I've done in the past before I read certain chapters, because I've seen it done before, and it's annoying when people say like, oh, this is going to happen, or I can't wait to see people's reaction to this, as if I'm not trying to enjoy this myself. So that's my opinion. I'm with you there, Captain. I'm sick of hearing about this altercation too. I am so tired of it. I couldn't care less. I really couldn't. Don't ask me on my opinion on it because I don't care. I don't. Sorry, but I don't give celebrities the same type of levity that everyone thinks like, oh, they're celebrities. Oh, let's talk about them. Let's have them on my lips. I'd rather have video games and One Piece and anime and manga on my lips than talk about people who don't even know that I'm alive. Couldn't care less. That's me. Sorry. But, well, I'm actually, you know what? I'm not sorry. I'm tired of people putting celebrities on such a pedestal that they'll talk about them consistently over and over and over again. Like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares what they're doing? What does it got to do with you? Is this something to tell your friends at the water cooler on lunch break? No one cares. No one cares. I don't care. No one with a brain cares about what happens at the Oscars. No one does. No one really watches the Oscars. What's it for? It's only for the rich and famous, and everyone else is forced to endure it. That's it. But I'm done. Done talking about One Piece. Really do hope you enjoyed my reflections. This has been a phenomenal month of One Piece in the month of March. It's just been absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see what April has to show for us as we move into April, then May, then June, and July, it's just like, oh boy, I can't wait. I'm also looking forward to transitioning from the job that I'm working on right now to doing this full time, because let me tell you, the desire for me to do this full time has grown substantially, especially with recent shifts. At my current job, it has grown to the point where I am really looking forward to just leaving and then doing this consistently. And with your help, I know that can become a reality. So all I can say is thank you, everyone, for your continued support of this channel. It means the world to me. I really do hope you enjoy all the things that I do on this channel, because I enjoy this. I absolutely enjoy this. I pour my heart and soul into this, and I as long as you guys are entertained, that is all that matters to me. So with that, all I can say is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then consider subscribing or even consider becoming a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. It is 1:50. Haven't had breakfast. Time to go eat. And then, more Wonderlands! All right, take it easy, everybody.